Welcome to Globe Mist, the channel that unveils the darkest realities and hidden truths shaping our world today. What if I told you that the streets of America have become more than just concrete and asphalt? They have transformed into lifeless battlegrounds of suffering, where the homeless population is spiraling into an irreversible crisis? In 2025, the homelessness epidemic will reach its most catastrophic peak, fueled by mental illness, drug addiction, government failure, and economic collapse. Thousands of individuals, many suffering from schizophrenia, PTSD, bipolar disorder, and severe depression, roam these streets, unmedicated, untreated, and completely forgotten. Major cities once known for their wealth and prosperity, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, and Chicago, have now become home to thousands of abandoned souls. The world watches in silence while these crises worsen. What caused this tragedy? Why has America failed its most vulnerable people? And most importantly, how much worse will it get before something is done? The mental health breakdown in 2025. A crisis no one can ignore. Mental illness in America is no longer just an individual struggle. It is now a national emergency, a humanitarian disaster unfolding in real time. By 2025, America's mental health crisis will surpass all previous records, with depression, anxiety, and psychosis reaching an all-time high. Suicide rates are skyrocketing, therapy is unaffordable, and psychiatric hospitals are overflowing with desperate patients begging for help that may never come. Mental health facilities across the country have been pushed past capacity, and wait lists for psychiatric care now extend for months, even years. People battling schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, and severe depression are given little to no resources, leaving them vulnerable and abandoned. Government funding for mental health care is at an all-time low, forcing those in crisis to either rot in overcrowded prisons, sleep on sidewalks, or lose themselves completely to untreated psychosis. Mental illness is no longer treated as a medical emergency. It is ignored, dismissed, and left to consume lives without intervention. The disturbing link between homelessness and mental illness. The homeless crisis in America is not just about poverty, it's about untreated mental illness at a scale never seen before. Thousands of individuals suffering from severe psychiatric disorders have no access to therapy, no support system, and no ability to navigate social services, leading them to live permanently on the streets. Walking through the most crowded cities in America, you see the reality of untreated suffering. People talking to themselves, screaming at invisible figures, rocking back and forth in a state of complete mental collapse. These are not criminals. These are human beings who have been abandoned by a system that refuses to acknowledge their existence. Many of the homeless once had jobs, homes, and families, but when mental illness took hold of their lives, the system failed them. Psychiatric hospitals denied admission, therapy became too expensive, and eventually, without medical help, they lost everything. Homelessness became their only reality. The drug epidemic. Feeding the crisis substance abuse has exploded among the homeless, turning addiction into an unstoppable force fueling their suffering. By 2025, the opioid epidemic will claim more lives than ever before, with fentanyl, heroin, and meth tearing through the homeless population at catastrophic levels. Many individuals use drugs to escape the agony of untreated psychiatric disorders, and once addiction takes hold, their chances of recovery become almost impossible. Pharmaceutical companies are profiting off human suffering, flooding the market with highly addictive opioids while government officials do nothing to stop it. Instead of investing in rehabilitation centers and addiction recovery, the U.S. government has pushed for mass incarceration, treating addicts as criminals rather than victims of a failed health system. By 2025, overdose deaths among homeless individuals will be the highest in recorded history. And the heartbreaking part? Most of these deaths could have been prevented if America had prioritized treatment instead of punishment. the government's utter failure to address the crisis. Politicians talk endlessly about homelessness, yet no real solutions are ever implemented. Billions of dollars in government funding are wasted on ineffective programs, while homeless encampments keep growing larger, filled with people struggling to survive without shelter, without medication, and without hope. Instead of providing affordable housing, mental health treatment, or emergency intervention, city leaders have turned to criminalizing homelessness. Cities like Los Angeles and New York routinely conduct sweeps, destroying homeless encampments, throwing away personal belongings, and forcing individuals to relocate without offering them any alternative. Rather than address the problem, officials simply push the homeless further into isolation, making recovery nearly impossible. The system isn't just broken, it's completely dysfunctional, and its failures will only get worse in 2025. What happens next? The unfolding disaster. If nothing changes, the future of America's homeless population is horrifying. Mental illness will worsen, addiction will rise, crime will escalate, and the streets will become even more dangerous than they already are. The homeless population will continue growing, flooding major cities until shelters can no longer handle the demand. By 2025, the homeless crisis will not be an isolated issue. It will be a national catastrophe, one that could have been prevented but was ignored for far too long. The only way forward? Real action, government intervention, mental health reform, addiction recovery initiatives, and affordable housing programs that actually work. If we fail to act now, homelessness will permanently define America, leaving millions trapped in an inescapable cycle of suffering. Final thoughts, a call to action. The truth is brutal. America has allowed homelessness to reach catastrophic levels, and by 2025, the crisis will hit its absolute worst point. But this does not have to be the future. The time to act is now. If we push for mental health reforms, demand addiction recovery programs, and force government officials to prioritize treatment over punishment, we can change the outcome before it's too late. The fight against homelessness is not just about shelter. It is about restoring dignity, humanity, and justice to the people America has abandoned. This is Globe Mist. This is Globe Mist, bringing you the real stories behind the most urgent global crises. If you believe homelessness and mental health deserve attention, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can expose the truth and demand real change before 2025 becomes America's breaking point.